Done and done. So you don't need me to upload it to SoundCloud?
No. Not unless you want to run.
For-
Not unless you want it to run through Patch Podcast, because I moved all our stuff to. I moved all help desk stuff over to Anchor, because I can just pull the audio from the video.
Where's the Patch Podcast go?
It's still done manually.
Huh.
We need to move it over to Anchor.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
I love Anchor. It makes my job so much easier.
I'll leave that moving it over to Anchor up to the tech guy.
You hear that, Justin?
All right. You guys ready?
Whatever you want.
Here we go. Welcome to our Patch Turned Up and our Patch Facebook Live. Today we're having Help Desk with Joe. This is show number 43. We have Justin here joining us, and we're getting ready to go live on our podcast. This is David with Patch Tuned Up. Shoot, I already messed it up. Did that last time too. Tuned Up. I want to say tuned up all the time. I got to fix that.
Well, you're the one that named it, so
I know.
if anybody should do it right.
Yeah. I hit the wrong button there. Okay, now let's get going. Here we go. This is David with Patch Turned Up here in Spencer, West Virginia. You're listening to Help Desk with Joe. Today we have Joe and Justin with us. This is episode 43 of our podcast series. Tune in for more podcast information and music as we go along. So show 43, Joe, Justin, welcome. Another week, another show.
Glad to be here.
Back from Christmas break. Everybody have a good one?
Not too bad yourself.
This is true. Christmas break. Definitely the holiday season around here. Everything's slowed down a little bit, but yet still busy.
So Justin asked me before the show, did I get any cool tech gadgets for Christmas? And I have to say, I didn't, but I'm glad. And I'll tell you why. Because I told Justin I was afraid if I got a tech gadget and reviewed it for the show and it was a stinker,
Yeah.
that particular family member may say, hey.
That's interesting, though. How does a tech guy not get technology gifts?
I don't know. It's kind of interesting because usually, at least Cena might get me some little gadget or something.
Well, I was going to say at least like a flash drive or something that, be like, hey, you need this because you use these a lot, so let's just get you a couple new ones.
Right.
So nothing like that?
No, but Cena did get me the entire series of Longmire, so I'm good there. So did you guys get any cool gadgets for Christmas?
If you call an immersion blender a cool gadget, maybe.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I saw a recipe and I was going to make a soup and it said stick blender. And so I was at work and I asked Denise, because Denise knows that kind of stuff. I was like, Denise, what the heck's a stick blender? And she's like, oh yeah, an immersion blender. And so that's what I got for Christmas, an immersion blender.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I can make my soups and have the proper equipment. But
okay, so that makes more sense, because when you said immersion blender, I was thinking like some kind of NutriBullet kind of setup.
Yeah. No, it's a blender that you hold in your hand and you stick down in like a soup if you're using like potatoes and stuff, and it blends it in the pot, so you don't have. So what I ended up doing when I made the soup was taking the pot, pouring it into a bigger blender, blending it, and then pouring it back into the pot.
Okay.
Which is a huge pain, and it's sloppy and it's messy. But this immersion blender, it's like a stick, like a rod. You just stick it down in your pot and it blends.
Yeah, those
pretty cool.
You can use those to make milkshakes, by the way.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. That's exactly. That's another good use. But
best use I've found for it.
Yeah. So that was my techie gadget, I guess. Yeah, I know a technology guy. He didn't get me nothing.
Yeah.
That's,
I told you I was going to get you the same thing as last year, but a different color.
Yeah. Nothing times nothing. That's all right. You're getting a raise for doing this show.
All right.
We'll just double what you currently get.
Sweet.
We can both play that game, Joe. So anyway, yeah, coming out Christmas. Justin, did you get anything techie?
Nothing? No, nothing techie for me. Just socks and the usual,
The usual, yeah. Okay, all right. Well, sounds like our Christmas is plain Jane.
Well, you guys had mentioned you got your eye on some new products, but I know, Joe, you'd said the doorbell maybe is shipping this month sometime. Is that right? Or no,
the thermostat.
Thermostat.
I did get the thermostat in, and be a couple of weeks for a review on that, but so far
Nice.
Spoiler alert.
What'd you bring us today that we get to try out? That's what I want to know.
Nothing. Today's your day.
Oh, jeez, Joe. We don't get nothing?
Exactly. Not today.
That's every day, though.
I know.
I mean, you showed up at the show last time and had the product and didn't bring the power cord again. I don't know. I think we need to revamp our product reviews here. I think Joe should get the product, pay for it and all that stuff, and then use it a little bit and then loan it to you and I for 6 to 8 months, and then we do a product review. And if it can withstand the usage of you and I, Justin, then we can do like a real product review.
Hey, I offered you that little screen, but you still have not picked it up.
I haven't seen it.
Well, you said you was going to stop by and pick it up.
Oh, I got to come visit you?
Yeah.
By golly. All right.
Yeah, I think we should...
the problem is I don't watch TV really, so...
Well, I think we should take that screen magnifier and then the three of us sit together, because according to the pictures on Amazon, you can sit 80 of your best friends together and watch around it.
Yeah.
The three of us watch
Really?
a movie for... Been there, watch that.
Yeah,
And then just three of us
yeah.
sit together around that little screen, that little 12-inch screen, and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... Anyway. That might be a little weird, sitting in close proximity with you two, trying to watch this little screen.
Well, now, according to the Amazon listing, you can set up
It's up
8
to
people.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And surely you can't be wrong.
Yeah. Who would falsify that?
Exactly.
Interesting. All right. Well, all right, the usual format. So today you have 2 news updates instead of 3.
Yeah, it's another slow news week. Wasn't a lot of tech news going on, unless you want me to let you know what the great last minute tech gadgets were before Christmas, but
Well, I think
we might be a little late on that.
let's put this one on Justin. Justin, your contribution today will include coming up with a 3rd news update, that just
Okay.
something you find, your flight of fancy that you want to throw out there.
All right, I'm on it.
So you got a couple minutes here, which a couple minutes turns into like 30, that Joe and I and you will discuss the other 2 news
I was going to
updates.
say, the second news story will give Justin plenty of time to get on the soapbox on that one. So.
I got you. So, all right, first news update. You got some news about HBO Max.
Yes, the long-awaited battle between Roku and HBO Max is over.
Really?
Yes, HBO Max and Roku finally made an agreement right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And now HBO Max is available on Roku.
So what was the deal? Remind me. Because I remember you talking about it.
It was basically boiling down to money. Rights between the pricing of the app and all that between Roku and HBO Max. And with Roku being the largest streaming platform,
Yeah.
Roku kind of has the upper hand on this place. Like, you could probably double your numbers if you would come with, meet with our terms. And HBO Max is saying, we're sticking to our guns.
Yeah.
And this is what, and I think they finally
They can stand on
cooler
their
heads
own.
emerged, and they finally came to an agreement that both sides at least can tolerate.
Now, does that, with it going into Roku, the Roku price is still the same, right?
Yeah, it's just a new channel, but
Do you have to pay extra to get HBO Max on Roku?
no, you just have to pay your HBO Max subscription, and then it's
Available on Roku.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah, I'm still not. I'm off TV, so I don't really paying attention to how that works.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
just like your Netflix and Hulu and all that. You just pay your subscription, and then you can watch it on basically any device you have.
All right, cool. Okay. So, hey, Roku subscribers, is that the right way to say
Roku
that?
users.
Roku users, then HBO Max available.
Yes.
Is
so
that do you think it'll be a big thing?
It has to be a big thing, because that was kind of the holdout for everything, and and personally, that's the reason I didn't sign up for HBO Max or even do a trial,
Yeah.
because I wanted to wait for it to come to Roku, because it's easier for me to just watch it on TV as it is my phone. But as soon as it came live on Roku, I went to HBO Max website. I was going to sign up for my trial and give it an honest try. No free trials.
Is HBO Max worth all that? I don't know. Like I had HBO when I had satellite TV. HBO came with a package, when you first sign up.
Right.
But I didn't feel like it was worth paying for, so I never paid for it.
Yeah, well, it's $14.99 a month for the service. And honestly, with the content that they have available, Cena and I have discussed it, and it's one of those services where we would probably pay the $15,
Yeah.
watch as much content as we can in a month, and then cancel it for like 6 months, and then
Yeah.
turn it back on for a month, see if there's anything new, then turn it back off.
Right. And that's what kind of happened when I did the free version that they give you for signing up for whatever. I watched it and I was like, man, it's the same old stuff over and over and over. There wasn't new content.
Right.
So I didn't. That's what I didn't care for. But
That's what you're hearing.
yeah. So anyway, okay. So is that all the news on HBO Max?
Yeah, and they've actually taken away the HBO app itself. So
Really?
yes, so they're trying to push everybody towards HBO Max.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
So now it's just Max.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you're one of those folks that likes HBO, or HBO Max is where you got to turn now, and then also Roku.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's the news.
That's
As
story
reported
number
by
one.
Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a slow news week, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's okay. That's good stuff. So with news update number 2, Frontier.
Yes, so I'm breaking out the soapbox on this one.
Now, is this local news or is this like regional? How far does this expand? I don't know enough about it to know.
It's this hits us locally, statewide, and nationally altogether.
Really?
Yeah, this is huge news.
I didn't know if Frontier was national. That's why I was asking.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not the only state that has to deal with their nonsense. But that nonsense may be coming to an end very quickly.
Going to be one of those news updates. Well, I kind of remember back when West Virginia gave them a ton of tax subsidiaries type deals to lay down fiber optic, and they never did.
Right.
So yeah, kind of a bad deal, but yet they're still doing business.
Right.
Okay, so fill us in on your news update. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Senator Shelley Moore Capito is asking the government to block broadband funding earmarked for Frontier Communications, saying that the ISP is not capable of delivering gigabit speed internet service to all required locations. So let me get you guys up to speed on what happened. So a while back, the government did a reverse auction on these internet expanding broadband to areas across the country. And in the way the reverse auction works is companies would submit the lowest bid to
Right.
complete these projects.
Just like any government job, you bid on it, and the lowest bidder wins it.
Right.
Because you do it for the cheapest.
Right. So Frontier threw their hat in the ring, and they actually won over 2/3 of the funding the FCC allocated to West Virginia and other states for these broadband expansion projects.
Yeah, we'll just say contracts.
Yeah. So Frontier is one of the 180 ISPs that won funding through the FCC's Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, or RDOF, reverse auctions before Christmas. So Frontier, this is just step 1. Step 2 is Frontier now has to submit what they call a long form.
Yeah.
And then once they do that, if that gets approved, then they get this truckload of money. When I say a truckload, Frontier is set to receive $370.9 million over 10 years.
How do they not have to pay back whatever happened in the deal 5 or 6 years ago? That's crazy. Anyway, different story. That's my deal. I'm always like, man, we should already have fiber optic.
Right.
People got paid to do this.
Yeah, and they're supposed to expand it to 127,188 homes and businesses in 8 states. Frontier's biggest payout is in West Virginia, where it's due to receive $247.6 million over 10 years to expand its network to 79,391 locations. So here's the problem. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is tired of Frontier's antics like the rest of us, goes to the FCC and says, look, Frontier has time and again pulled the nonsense like you just mentioned, failed to spend the money wisely, failed to show what they spent the money on, failed to use it for what it was earmarked for, is filed for bankruptcy earlier this year.
Yeah.
Is the absolute worst person ever to give this money to. You're basically just going to buy them out of bankruptcy and not going to see anything from it.
Yeah.
And plus, Frontier's going to have to chip in their own money to get this gigabit fiber project going, which obviously they won't have the money to do so.
Yeah. And that's $2,500 roughly per person, a contract they're getting.
Right, over 10 years.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
So Capito is urging the FCC to completely deny or accept Frontier's long form application and to basically rebid those projects out, which I'm all for. So I'm anxious to see how this goes, but she's actually jumping, spearheading this, saying, "Hey, don't give that to them. They won't work. They won't use it." And Frontier won, like one of the other previous contracts. Frontier won over 2/3 of funding that the FCC allocated to West Virginia, despite failing to hit the FCC deadlines for a previous round of subsidized broadband deployment in West Virginia and other states.
Yeah.
Under the previous funding allocated in 2015 via the FCC's Connect America Fund, Frontier was originally required to build deadlines by the end of 2020, so tomorrow.
Yeah, and they didn't hit them.
Right. Frontier said that they will now meet that deadline by the end of 2021. Timeout.
Yeah.
One of the very first things I learned in high school, and Justin, you'll back me up on this, Mrs. Janet Kirby,
Yeah.
in the broadcasting class, wrote on the board, one of the first things she said, it's called a deadline for a reason.
Yeah. Well, and you had that much time to get that much money.
Yeah. You had 5 years to spend this money, and...
Well, they evidently spent it because they're bankrupt.
Yeah. And
So
obviously they didn't spend it for what it was earmarked
Yeah.
for.
So they spent it but didn't use it for
Yes.
what it was supposed to be used for.
So now you as a person receiving the money has the right to extend that deadline. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, and ask for more.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad business 101. But, that's how the state operates. That's why, I always get a little frustrated if you're West Virginian, you really don't have any case to say that you don't like welfare or any social type programs, because West Virginia requires, and this is an old number, this number is probably at least 5 years old, but West Virginia requires at least $11.3 billion from the federal government just to work as a state. So our state itself doesn't work as a business. And then, and then we double down by letting businesses come and operate the same way, and we're like, yep. I just don't understand how. And here's the real kicker. So this is my soapbox for the day. How is it that a state that has so many natural resources, some of the largest natural gas deposits in the world, coal, timber, and then we have a lot of wildlife, trout fishing, hunting, and so forth, and we still require almost $11.5 billion from the federal government to survive? It's just bad management. That's all it is. And then we throw out contracts like this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But this is at the federal levels to give you...
Oh, yeah, I understand. I'm just saying, I would look at West Virginia and say, wait a minute. If I was a federal person, be like, time out. Clean your house up. Make this work. You have too many natural resources that you're not utilizing correctly, and then we're going to give you more money. So I don't know. That's my soapbox for the day.
So under the FCC rules, the winning bidders must deploy 40% of the required locations in each state within 3 calendar years, 60% within 4 years, 80% within 5 years, and 100% within 6 years.
Yeah. You know what would be better, I think? So I just did the quick math. Over 10 years, each family that would technically get internet would get $20 a month. That's what's being spent on them. Give them the $20 and tell them to go get a hotspot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they'd probably see more return on their investment quicker.
Oh, I guarantee.
Because you could start it right now and pay them $20 for 10 each month. $20 a month for 10 years is about $2,500, and you could just pay it directly to those families and say, work out your own internet, HughesNet, whatever, hotspot, whatever you need to do. $20 for gas to go to the local library and use internet.
Right.
A month. So that's $5 a week. Hey, there you go. You're welcome. The families would probably appreciate it.
Yes, and here's the real kick in the pants. Frontier, the funding that Frontier has won is for the gigabit tier, and it's required to offer speeds of 1 gigabit download, upload speeds up to 500 megabits, and a monthly usage allowance of at least 2 terabytes. Guys, I'm paying for DSL Max, which is supposed to be 24 meg down, and I don't even know what the upload is. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm getting 1.23 megabit download. on a 24 meg bill. So if Frontier can't do that,
Yeah.
and the FCC's ignorant enough to go, yeah, we'll go ahead and give you money. Surely you can get gigabit. If I can't get 24 meg, gigabit's not even going to happen. That's not even a discussion topic.
Yeah, and you're 4 miles from town.
3.
3 miles from town.
Yeah.
So you're literally 3 miles away from the largest hub in the county.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy, Justin, you're not ever getting internet. I'm just saying.
No.
Well, but,
Or cell service.
but
Justin's
I'll
7
figure
miles
it.
out of town on a crooked road,
Yeah.
so in a valley.
I mean,
You get nothing and you like it, Spalding.
if
But your taxpayer money's going to pay for it.
so, if you have a means of contacting Senator Capito, please let her know that we appreciate what she's doing and to continue to fight to keep the money away from Frontier, because this is a huge deal, and it is something that's going to literally affect us locally.
You know, I wonder though. I can kind of see, and I've seen this trick in the past. Let me look up a statistic here real quick.
Okay. And this is one of the things, I'm on the Roane County Broadband Committee, and this is one of the big things that we've talked about for quite some time is, our main goal is trying to expand broadband in the county, but yet we want to make sure it's done correctly and properly and don't end up with companies like Frontier, this little fiasco where they get the money, buy the lines, lease lines, whatever, and don't do anything with them, or just keep with the subpar service that they have. So, having somebody fighting our corner at the federal level is pretty good dealings, at least for the state.
Mm-hmm.
So Frontier employs about 2,000 people in West Virginia. They operate in 27 states and they employ about 14,000 people total. I can imagine somebody somewhere is going to say, but wait a minute, they employ people. If we don't give them the contracts, then what about all those employees? And 2,000 of them are in West Virginia.
I guarantee it.
We're going to lose jobs because,
But
West Virginia is open for business.
But but they wasn't going to lose the jobs if they go file for bankruptcy.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying that's devil's advocate on my side.
Right.
That's generally what happens. They're like, wait a minute, you're going to kill business. And I'm like, time out. Usually people that say that are huge capitalists.
They're getting kickbacks from it.
Well, I'm just saying they're capitalists anyway. And you're kind of like, wait a minute, if you're a capitalist, it doesn't matter because the business either stands on its own or it doesn't.
Exactly.
But yet, those are the same people that'll say, wait, we can't lose jobs.
But
Like, are you sure? Really? Can we not?
But I always go back to follow the money. I guarantee there's some kind of...
I mean, that's my big argument with coal. We are diehard in West Virginia, and this is a huge controversy that I'll bring to the technology world, which I think is relevant, though, actually. West Virginia wants to bank on an 1800 technology as the saving grace when we're at 11.5 billion in the hole.
Right.
Like, come on, people.
Well, I've said for several years, facts are facts. People in the southern part of the state need jobs. Period.
Sure.
If West Virginia has always been known as an energy source. Okay. The federal government, depending on who gets in office, has always tried their best to shut down West Virginia and kill coal. Okay, if you want to do that.
Hold on. So, again, that's the argument that I don't like, though.
No. Let me finish. Go
ahead. Sorry.
So, if I'm always up for a plan B.
Yeah.
So why don't we bring solar companies in?
Oh, yeah.
Build a factory in the southern part of the state. Say you're welcome to West Virginia, but you have to build down in coal country to give these people an alternative to jobs.
Yep.
So then, if the federal government comes in and shuts them down, with stricter regulations or whatever, all these people have to do is walk out of the mine and into the factory and have a job and food on the table. But yet we're still providing energy to the country.
Yeah, I agree. But that's a couple of things I see in that. One, why do we have to do coal? Because you're right. Coal miners are, and I was a coal miner for 3 years. So people that sit there and might watch this show or listen to this show and say, hey, that's a shaded opinion on my part. I was a coal miner for 3 years. I worked at the coal mine where Upper Big Branch, where the 27 miners died. I worked for Don Blankenship. I know the deal. But the heavy pollution in the water, and I just don't understand why these wonderful people, because coal miners are ingenious. I've seen coal miners fix stuff with a pair of pliers, a screwdriver, and a hammer that the average person couldn't fix with a whole Snap-on toolkit.
Right.
They're just ingenious. And I was like, why do they have to mine coal? Why can't they do solar? Why can't they do water, hydro energy? Why can't they do all these things that they could be amazingly good at? Because it's such a dedicated workforce.
Well, and that's the thing, these are hardworking people.
And,
and by no means am I one going to be standing down there saying shut down the coal mines. I'm saying, hey, if you're going to put these people out of a job, give them an alternative.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Why do they have to do 1800 technology and die of black lung and pollute the water and the air when they are such a good workforce? Because you think about what it takes for the average person to go underground and mine coal 8 to 10 hours a day, every day for their life. That is a tough job.
Yeah, and
I've been there. There's no way.
And these aren't jobs where you just walk in and
just
hit
be
the
like,
wall.
I'm just going to be a coal miner.
You're talking 18 inches above the ground at best in spots. Yeah. And that's
high risk, super high risk. But those folks are willing to do that job, and I'm just like, they don't have to be coal miners. They could be awesome solar people, hydro people. They could be awesome at whatever.
Right.
We just need. I agree with you. The state needs to provide an outlet and say, all right, let's get rid of the 1800s technology, get into the future. I mean, why not turn it into a mini Silicon Valley?
Exactly.
I mean, could you not put some factories down there to make silicon chips or something, or do computer work, technology work that would be relevant?
And I heard something that makes great sense and a great opportunity that I'd heard where there was talks of taking these old abandoned mines.
Yep.
And turning them in, run fiber optic through it, and have internet hubs for the southern part of the state. I was like, that's great.
Oh, you can do so much.
Yeah, it's sitting there. It stays, cold.
It stays 65 degrees year round.
Yeah, and I mean the mine shaft's sitting there vacant. So why don't we make a way to make money out of it? And
I agree. It can be done. We're stuck. We're stuck with the same old mentality, and that's kind of what my relevance to the Frontier story is. Frontier's here. Even though they do a poor job or whatever, however it works out, in management somewhere, they're doing a poor job, I guess. The workers that work on the ground, I don't blame them at all. They're doing work like they need to. It's the management.
They're trying to make a living.
Yeah, and they're driving around working their butts off with whatever they have to work with. But yeah, it's got to be one of those deals where we got to stop feeding this machine that doesn't ever come out on a winning end. So,
right.
I see Rodney Cox is tuned in. Yeah, Happy New Year, Rodney.
Happy New Year, Rodney. Glad to see you.
But all right, anyway, so on our soapboxes. So Frontier, if you're West Virginian, Shelley Moore Capito, she's your representative. Get a hold of her. It's easy. You can go straight, just type in, search Shelley Moore Capito, and
yeah, you can call her office or hit her on Twitter,
email,
or
email's super easy.
Yeah.
Email, let her know what you think.
Yeah, let her know to keep.
Let's get quality service for West Virginians. We deserve it.
Yeah, let her keep fighting the good fight to keep the money out of Frontier's hands and any other state.
Well, or if it's going to go to Frontier, give it some teeth.
Well, at this point, I'm saying don't give them.
Yeah, right. I understand. I'm just saying something has to be done. They just can't blanket this money to them and say, okay, let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I say just don't even give the money and we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because we've suffered so long in West Virginia with poor broadband capabilities. It's terrible. And we can't do business. We can't be open for business if we don't jump into the 21st century here.
Well, and the biggest issue is what Frontier has done, and they have done this to other states in the country, is what they'll do is they've gone in and bought out Verizon or whoever the telecom was, their old technology.
Yeah.
Didn't spend a dime on upgrading the equipment, and just limped along, and that's why they're in the situation they're in now. Is because, like, for example, they bought West Virginia, but instead of reinvesting money and upgrading West Virginia's equipment, it's like, we'll bandage it, we'll duct tape it, we'll make it work. Well,
yeah. And here we are, 10 years later, still waiting for broadband capabilities.
Yes, so if there's any other states that you're a Frontier customer and you're watching or listening to the show.
Yeah, there's 27 of them, by the way.
Contact your state and federal representatives and let them know, do not give Frontier a dime of this. Frontier does not need a dime of this money. Because I guarantee you that these other states are in the same boat as we are. If not, there wouldn't be this big hoopla.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. All right, news update number 3. Justin, what do you got?
All right. Couple, like you said, Joe, a little bit slow, but I dug around a little bit and saw a story that seemed kind of interesting, just moving closer to having a totally autonomous food delivery vehicle.
Ooh.
I'll show you a quick little picture of it here. It's kind of cute looking.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is in California. They're starting to work their way into rolling out this kind of egg-looking, almost looks like the car, the front and the back. You can't tell which is which. And there's little, in this picture, folding up doors with somebody's groceries and some sort of sensor. I assume you come up with your cell phone, the door opens, you get your stuff out of this little vehicle that would drive up to you autonomously.
So what's the name of the vehicle, or what's the name of the company?
Nuro, N-U-R-O, or Neuro, however you want to say it.
Now, I do know, are they the company that established the, I want to call it a hotel butler, but like the hotel delivery service? Is this the same company?
That I'm not sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so they really took off when COVID hit. It was a company that had something similar to this, but it basically looked like a trash can on wheels, and it's fully autonomous, where people at the front desk could call for room service. They would put it in that robot.
Yeah.
The robot would get itself on the elevator, take itself to the floor, and then bring itself to your door. And then when you'd open the door, it would open the little hatch, and take your goodies out, close the hatch, and it would drive itself back down to its charging base or whatever.
Huh.
Yeah, a little lower risk, maybe. Wouldn't have
human contact, yeah.
Right.
Especially with COVID.
Too many, deadly hotel butler accidents or anything. They had to worry about. Like with Uber, they had that woman run over in Arizona that mentioned that's always in the back of people's minds, that deaths like that can happen. It says the vehicle be limited to 35 miles an hour and restricted to operating in, quote, fair weather, unquote, conditions.
Yeah. What state was it in?
This is California issuing the first.
I mean, they have 70-degree weather year round, so yeah. That makes it easy.
So yeah, that's not out on the roads yet, but they're kind of starting the paperwork issuing a first permit for this milestone autonomous vehicle delivery system, they say.
Okay, so it's not the same company. Similar concept, different company. Here it is. It's a company from Dash, and it's called the Rosie. And here's what it looks like, the little hotel.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I could see that being handy.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see. Now, playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I want to see how this thing works in West Virginia.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that will not make its way here.
Tailgating behind it, honking their horns. Get out of the road, you stupid robot.
Well, I'm just talking about the GPS.
Yeah, it'll end up on some back road stuck like the UPS guy.
Yeah.
They call it the R2. R2 uses radar, thermal imaging, and a 360-degree camera to direct its movement. Lacks a steering wheel, pedals, or side view mirrors. So it's, the Uber had done some of the autonomous vehicles, but there's still a human in there that could take over. This is totally no human whatsoever would be involved in this.
You speak of that being in West Virginia, Joe. It wouldn't even make it where it's supposed to go. Somebody'd hijack that baby.
Oh yeah.
Get them.
Yeah.
That's why.
There goes food and a neat little vehicle. Let's see what we can do.
It's like the Amazon drones. Like, that wouldn't last 10 minutes in West Virginia. That's skeet shooting for us.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, look, it's Christmas. Boom. And you just start seeing drones fly out of the sky and don't know what's in the package, but I got to have it.
Or just because it's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
They did a little test run in Houston, Texas, and it successfully delivered a Domino's pizza.
Nice.
And some groceries, and they did some other things. This guy's quoted saying it'll be very limited rollout at first. We're going to really evaluate the safety.
Yeah.
Slow rollout.
Well, that's smart.
Yep.
I would be anxious to see how well that turns out. Because something like DoorDash, I was kind of hesitant on the whole idea of DoorDash until Cena and I actually used it over the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm sold on the idea. Like, if we go somewhere, instead of have to go find a place to eat, pull it up, and not only do you get the food, but they deliver it straight to you.
Right.
That's awesome. So something like this, I'm excited about.
Yeah.
A little cautious because of West Virginia, the terrain.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the 4-wheel drive model of that. But
the jacked up 4-wheel drive food delivery. Yeah. That's what we'd have to have for sure.
But I'm anxious to see this.
Say we were to take the Joe Show on the road. We ended up out in California, the three of us. Would you get into an autonomous Uber?
I would.
I'd almost have to, yeah. I mean,
I agree with Joe just because I feel like you're going to say the novelty.
Yeah.
because it's something you wouldn't see
Yeah.
around here. So I mean, you know,
Do a quick ride.
you're so likely to be in a car wreck anyway.
Take me around the block.
Yeah.
Don't take me too far.
Yeah. Keep me off the interstate, but you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
around the block,
Yep.
slow 25 miles and under.
Yeah, now something like that I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little quick around the block to say I've done it. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, so that would be.
Take me a couple blocks to a restaurant, low speeds.
But I heard something a while back, and it was funny. You know, growing up, we was always taught you don't get in cars with strangers, you don't accept food from strangers.
Yeah.
Here we are, 2020. We rely on strangers to deliver our food.
Yep.
We pay. Not only do we get in strangers' cars, but we pay them to get into their cars
Oh,
and
yeah.
have them take us places.
Yeah. Now it's the norm. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a related article I pulled up saying Uber is like selling off its autonomous vehicle to like this other company, Aurora Technologies. Basically, I assume just to get some capital. That's a $400 million deal.
Get away from that since from the big from the fallout.
And any lawsuits that might incur. Yeah.
So yeah, the Uber had this subsidiary known as Advanced Technologies Group, and they're still interested in the sector, they say, but they put this deal together to kind of let somebody else take over that part of the company.
Like anything else, sometimes you just bite off more you can chew, and it's easier to pass it on to somebody else and let them have a fresh go.
It's like Google when Google was testing their autonomous vehicle.
Yeah.
If you filled out all the paperwork and you got in, you could do it. You could drive one and be a beta tester, but you had to take out $1 million insurance policy on the machine.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Insurance in West Virginia is sketchy anyway, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's 3 good news updates. HBO Max, Frontier, and now, did you say Neuro?
Yep.
Neuro.
N-U-R-O, Neuro.
Neuro. Yeah, I put that on our Facebook in the comments there, but Neuro.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Autonomous vehicles, food delivery.
Yeah, it almost looks like, kind of reminds you of the old Volkswagen vans.
Yeah. Huh.
But then you see that little vehicle and you're seeing potentially a job lost if someone does DoorDash or one of those other services.
Well,
Potentially, but somebody's got to do maintenance on it and
Yeah.
kind of take care of it. So it'll go to a tech person somewhere.
right. Well, and I guarantee you there won't be as many of these as there would be people doing
Yeah. It'd be a
grocery
novelty.
delivery services. So
I'm kind of always scratching my head how someone could even make any amount of money. I don't know. When I've used DoorDash, I think the fee is like $4 or something. You know, just and sometimes it seems like the mileage people are putting in and the wear and tear on the car. I can't. It's hard to see, but I just have to
See how
talk
it's
with someone
profitable.
that does it. How much they're actually making in a day? It'd probably be maybe a couple $100 on a real good day, but so
Yeah, I
many
think-
miles.
yeah, it's one of those. I think
You're
if you
paying for your own gas and all that. I would assume.
if you lived in a populous area like Charleston, you could probably. And that's the thing. When COVID first started, Cena and I looked into that. To make a little extra cash because nobody did know if anybody was going to be able to work or not. So I thought, well, people's got to eat. So we looked at doing being a DoorDash driver or whatever for around here, and that's not an option.
Yeah.
So I guess there's not enough people in Spencer for DoorDash to
Well,
consider it.
that could factor in a lot of things, like Appalachia in general. We're, with what we do, we work with senior centers, and that's a big part of what we do. But seniors here are fiercely independent.
Yes.
So you think about the people that would use DoorDash, you think, it doesn't matter. If you're Appalachian, you're fiercely independent. That's just bred into our heritage. So you could be a single mom, single dad, a nuclear family. You could be a grandparent, single grandparent. Doesn't matter. You're fiercely independent. You want to live at home, and you don't want anybody to take care of you, and you're just going to fight to be independent no matter what it is. So
Right.
that's why it's so hard here in Appalachia to have those kind of services be well received, because people are just fiercely independent.
Right.
And that breeds a lot of fantastic things. But it also makes it hard to help people. Now, on the flip side, fiercely independent but so willing to help others.
Yeah.
fiercely, almost to the point of being offended if you don't take their help.
Yeah.
But, somebody has a flat tire on the side of the road, 5 people will pull over to help them.
Yeah.
But, if you're on the receiving end of that, like, I got it, I'm all good, don't worry about it, but...
Yeah, we had news helicopters flying in with that silver alert, and
Yeah.
the news story basically was highlighting that a group of people started gathering and saying, "Hey, we'll help out to find this person." We had a person go missing in Spencer recently.
Yeah, missing person. Yeah.
People just jumping up and ready to go.
Oh yeah,
Do
yeah.
a search party.
It's
help out.
it's evident with our volunteer fire departments. Our volunteer fire departments always have great membership, always have wonderful people, helping. And you don't see that everywhere.
No.
Sometimes it's an uphill battle to get volunteers to do that kind of stuff, but around here it's kind of bred into our culture of you help. If someone needs help, you help.
Well, that was like when the big flood hit.
Yes, oh my gosh, yes.
And you go back and watch any news story, any other
Yep.
state in the country, I don't care what state you pick. What do they always show? The person sitting there, I've lost my home
Yep.
and I don't know what we're going to do. You go back and look at the footage of West Virginia, not one time would you find a person sitting there going, we lost our home, I don't know what to do. What they're doing is they're actually running the news people off
Yeah.
their property. Like, hey, we can't work because you are staying here,
Oh, yeah.
interfering with
Well,
us working.
And actually, I have an insight to that. We, in Roane County, Linda Drennan, Joe Ross, Mike Allen, George Chandler, there's a whole group of people, and I'm leaving some of them out there. But that crew got together, and they started the, what's it called
Roane
now?
County long-term recovery.
Yes. Roane County long-term, and we're the fiscal agent for them because they came to us. They called us immediately. It's like, look, we need a fiscal agent quick. And I was like, no problem, we'll do it. So Patch is the fiscal agent, and it's a Roane County long-term recovery group. And they got together, and they distributed more money and built more houses and fixed more houses than anyone within a 3 or 4 state radius with their recovery group, and got more done than any other group even around. There were still groups, they were 6 to 8 months in, and there were groups around like in Kanawha County and stuff that still hadn't even started yet.
Yeah.
And our Roane County long-term recovery group had already, built like 20 houses in those 6 and 8 months and had people in tiny homes and moved them to different locations and took care of them. I mean, did just the phenomenal job. And the crazy part is they're still doing it. They finished up. We did some billing for them last month, and they're still finishing up a couple of jobs here and there of people that just kind of got missed, I guess, or felt like they didn't need help.
And how many years is that going now? When did that start?
3 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2016 has been
Four, yeah, going on 4 years now. But yeah, I mean they did the best job of anybody in the state by far. Like it wasn't even close because they got started so quick and were so organized, and they utilized the money properly, and they took advantage of all these deals. They had volunteers rolling in. They just coordinated this huge, massive coordination effort. So yeah, if you see or know anybody, if you're listening to this and you're in Roane County local or whatever, if you know anybody on the Roane long-term recovery group, let them know they did a fantastic job because they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and that speaks to the Roane County spirit and the West Virginia spirit. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, if you looked at any news story of West Virginians during that flood, not one person did you see sitting there, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it's terrible.
Yep.
And there's a long road ahead. But they always showed clips of people working, cleaning out
And
their
helping,
homes,
yeah.
shoveling water out, cleaning the mud out.
Yeah.
Not one person did you see sitting there going, I don't know what to do. It's like,
I like that you say it in that voice.
yeah, I don't know what to do.
But you're right, yeah. Fiercely independent, but also fiercely quick to step up and help when a neighbor needs help.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what I see why things like that won't work here. And two, the geography doesn't really lend to it.
Right.
Crooked roads, bad roads, people live up dirt roads, and GPS is terrible around here. It takes you on, while the shortest route is often not the best. But yeah, it's a testament to the Roane County people and the Appalachian heritage. But anyway, okay, all right. Well, what are we finishing with, Joe?
Your product review. We're going to change things up today. Yeah. We're going to change things up today, and we're going to let Dave do a review based off of my recommendation, and Justin and I are going to pick fun at Dave.
I was going to say, this is a pitiful product review. And it's all my fault. So...
What's it called? Is it a Google phone app? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, and so here's how this went down. So, Joe, we waited because it just didn't come out to where I could get it for the longest time. And you're like, you got to switch to this. So give us the rundown.
Okay, so the Google phone app was originally deployed on just Google devices, the Google Nexus phones, the Google Pixel phones. It was set just for those devices. Well, Google finally opened doors to the other manufacturers and said, hey, it's now open for Android. Just about any Android manufacturer is welcome to it. Well, actually, they started with Samsung. So Dave and I was talking, and Dave, like the rest of us, hates these automated calls. And it's funny, we was talking about this about 30 seconds ago. My phone went off and was one of those spam calls, telemarketer calls, car warranty, health insurance, blah 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 blah.
The robos.
Yes, the robos. The Google Phone app has a built-in feature. It has like an automated, almost an automated secretary. So if someone
I remember you guys talking about this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so if someone calls you and your phone number's in your contacts list, it'll automatically ring your phone. But if it's not, they'll intervene and say, okay, who are you? What do you want?
Yep.
And then the person on the other end has to basically say what they're doing, who they are and what they're with. And then Google makes it pop up on your screen. Then you got an idea of who is on the other end before you even answer it. So I told Dave, I said, get this. I said, because 9 times out of 10, I said, it'll pick that up, and then it'll just hang it up, so your phone technically won't ring. And unless you actually see your screen light up while it's doing it, your phone won't ring. So I said, here, try this and see how it works. So Dave, how did it work?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So here's kind of how that went down. I'm going back actually. While you were talking, I actually went back and set the Google Phone app as my default again. I'm going to try it one more time.
Okay.
So I struggle with using it, and it's because I'm old school, and it's totally me. So let me say that right up front. As the disclaimer, it was totally me. I just struggled with the new look and format of it, which, I mean, it's not terribly different, but I just didn't like the layout necessarily. But now that I pulled it back up, I looked at it, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, I guess. But, I don't know. We'll see. I do like the spam. So, and here's the other thing. The last couple weeks, I've been getting hammered with spam. I don't know what changed, but the last couple weeks, I've been getting just probably 20 spam calls a day. So I'm going back to it.
Okay.
Now, originally, I used it for a little bit, and then something happened, and I had the choice of setting one or the other as my default, and I went back to whatever the green one is.
The Samsung phone app.
Okay, yeah.
So let me ask you this: did you see a difference? Did you see a decrease in your spam calls while using the Google Phone app as your default app?
I don't know. It's hard to tell, and that's part of the reason why I didn't care. And I kind of, when I dropped back into the Samsung one, it didn't affect me because I didn't really notice.
Okay.
I don't think I got as many. And then now, like I said, the last 2 weeks I've gotten hammered. So I almost feel like somebody flipped a switch and said, "Hey, add this number back to the list." Because honestly, there for a while I didn't get very many.
Right.
Occasionally, like once a week maybe.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I went to 2 a day. So the last, 4 or 5 days, I've just gotten hammered with spam. So I'm not sure how that works. That takes somebody that's smarter than me and knows more about how that works than I do to kind of judge why all of a sudden I'm getting hit again.
The trackers in your phone notice, hey, he made the Samsung phone app back as a default instead of Google, so there's no blockers. So
Is that what it was? Yeah. I mean, and it could have been that. I don't know.
That's a little far-fetched, but it is entertaining.
I mean, after watching the Social Dilemma, I almost believe it.
It's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
But now, so I pulled it back up, the Google Phone app, and I have it on there, and it has favorites, which, I don't... Actually, yeah, it lists my favorites. I kind of like that. It has recents, and it has contacts. And then it's got a quick to the jump pad. So I almost feel like it's updated because this wasn't the layout before.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's definitely a different layout, and I like it. Just looking at it right now, I like it, this new layout.
Okay.
Because I really like having the keypad on the corner no matter what I do. And I like the favorites, which I'm sure Samsung had a favorite deal, but I think I had to go add favorites, where this one automatically has five favorites for me, and I can add one.
Yeah, it'll automatically change those up
as you use them. Yeah,
based off of who you contact the most.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. So, but yeah, all right. So I'm back at it. So we might have to revisit this.
Okay, so at this point you're just still up for a possible re-review.
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. And I will say that at first I didn't like it, but now that I've been getting hammered with spam again, I will go back to it. And now that it has a different layout, I like it better.
Okay.
Just on my initial impression of looking at it, because the original one I just didn't like. It was different. This is a little more streamlined, I think.
Okay.
And my phone did do an update last week.
So that might be the difference maker.
Yeah. So they either...
I'd say they may have pushed out an update where the Google phone app
Yeah.
supported the newer version.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, either that or Google itself updated because I just put it back in. So
Yeah, it's a possibility.
maybe
too.
one or the other, but something changed. And I think it's for the better.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, we'll try it out again.
Okay. So this whole
Yeah.
idea of Justin and I sitting there making fun of you because you're getting older and setting your ways, you just threw that out the window.
Not really, because the original version was different, and I did not like the difference. Because I'm just a creature of habit. I like being able to quickly make phone calls if I need to, or vice versa. Not make phone calls or kick them out quickly.
Right.
And that's what initially turned me off.
Right.
I was like, man, it's different than what I'm used to, and I don't like it, and there's no need. But now that I'm getting hammered with spam again, I'm like, yeah, there is kind of a need. So, yeah. We'll see. So, yeah, we'll come back in a couple weeks, and I'll comment on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm anxious to see.
I set it as my default, so it'll stay.
Well, I'm anxious to see what happens after the.
I really like the favorites option. That was not on the other one. I need to actually go back. It's weird because I don't really remember any specifics on how my other one looked. Yeah, it just had keypad, recents, and contacts. So I like the favorites, which, I mean, maybe you could add that somehow. I don't know. But either way, now I'm on to this new one where it has favorites, recents. I really like the favorites. That's got me excited. And I like that you quick one finger touch the keypads over on the right side.
Right.
For a right-handed person, that makes it nice to just jump straight to keypad.
Sweet. All right. Good deal. So I'm anxious
Okay.
to see how this turns out.
Yeah, good job talking me back into that one.
So Justin, don't throw away he's getting older, setting his ways jokes yet. Don't
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
don't throw that sheet away.
Don't
yet.
get rid of those because that's probably still very plausible. Okay.
So
All right.
it totally screens a call for you. Does it keep a record of that somewhere too, so you can go
Yeah.
back and see?
Yeah, you can go back through your
How
call
many?
history and you can actually look at the. Now you can't go as far as I know. You can't go back and look at the transcript, but you can at least go back to your call log and see what number did show up.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, we'll see how it works. And I'm a bad product reviewer, or a poor product reviewer.
Well, no, it does show you the transcript.
I fell off the bandwagon quick.
Because here's one that came in 10 minutes ago, and right here, call screen.
So you use it. You use this, right?
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Give us your rundown. What do you think?
I love it. When Google first announced that setting,
Yeah.
that's the first thing I went to look for. It's like, I need it now, I need it now, I need it now. And honestly, I absolutely love it. Like I said, we're sitting here doing the show, and of course I have my phone on vibrate,
Yeah.
but my phone didn't even vibrate. The only way I caught it was I see my screen light up.
Yeah.
And what happens is your screen lights up, and it'll say screening call, and it'll have the phone number, and then you'll see this little line go across, and that's the Google Assistant talking to the person on the other end saying, hey, this person's using Google Voice Assistant service. Please state your name and the reason you're calling. And as they're talking, Google's transcribing that.
Yeah.
So then then it'll bring your phone up and say, okay, here's the person, here's why they're calling, and then you decide if you want to answer that call or not. But a lot of times, these robocalls will hit that automated teller, and by the time it finishes, it just automatically hangs the call up. So I don't even know.
Don't even know it happened.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I like it. I'm in. I'm back on the bandwagon, Joe.
Perfect.
So if you were to rate this, Joe's 5-star rating here, where would you put it right now?
Oh, by all means, 5 stars.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
That's-
Justin have it? He doesn't have an option to use this because he has an iPhone,
Yeah,
right?
he has iPhone.
Yeah, and I get calls all the time. I'm just gonna have to ignore them.
Yeah.
Get some of that, Justin, you iPhone user.
It Justin gets the best phone app that Apple offers.
Yeah, Justin.
But the call doesn't take up the entire screen anymore. It's just on the top now. I mentioned that as a big time new update to the way Apple phones work. Something that most phones have been doing.
It took them 2 years to develop that.
It leaves 2/3 of the screen free.
Oh, yep.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and they now do this new technology called wireless charging.
Yeah.
And
This
headphone
turned.
port is not on the top; it's on the bottom now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We moved it from the bottom to the top.
This
For your
turned on you in a
convenience.
hurry, Justin. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, this was supposed to be making fun of Dave, and we just turned the tables real quick.
Yeah. Redo.
Yeah, I was actually having a little bit of phone trouble the other day where, I don't know if you ever had the issue where you're sitting there just trying to get the charging cable into the phone just so it starts charging, and then you move it slightly, it stops, and you're cussing a little bit, but it turned out that was a charger cable issue. I was kind of getting afraid that, oh gosh, my whole phone isn't going to be able to charge anymore. But
Well, how old is your phone?
I don't know. It's an iPhone 6, so
Are you going to upgrade? And then if you do, are you going to stick with iPhone or go to Samsung with the rest of us champs?
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to rule it out. I could picture being like you guys and being,
One of us.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah,
us.
being part of the upper echelon crew.
yeah, just to not be looked down upon as much.
It's kind of crazy because I think iPhone users are like upper echelon, but yet they struggle so much.
Yeah, because they try to keep up with the Joneses.
Well, I just mean the technology is, it's there, but then again on simple stuff like this, having the ability to choose different apps and finding an app that kind of fits your needs versus just what you have.
Right. I honestly am surprised, Justin, you said it was the cord. I was going down the route. I have seen it so many times over years, and have fixed many of phones.
Mm-hmm.
Pocket lint in the charging port.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you would not believe how much pocket lint can accumulate in a charging port that can cause it to not secure connect.
If it was my phone, I'd say pocket lint, mud, dirt, dust, water. It all my phone takes a beating.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such a diehard Samsung fan, because my phones take abuse. Like I rarely. Now, Joe, you did the swoosh.
The Whoosh screen cleaner.
Yeah.
Yes.
I use that a lot, but the rest of my phone just takes a beating.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm at, whatever I'm working on, like if we're out at the farm, I'll set my phone in the grass, dirt, mud, doesn't matter.
Right.
It just takes a beating. But it still keeps on ticking.
There you go.
Knock on wood. All right. Well, that's our 3 news updates, and we got Joe and Justin here for Help Desk with Joe. So, Joe, if anybody has any questions, we talked about HBO Max, Frontier. Justin brought in the Neuro car delivery system that's in California.
Which I'm excited.
Yeah, and then we got on our soapboxes about different things, and then we talked about the Google Phone app. If anybody has any questions on those, how do they get a hold of you?
You give us a call at our office at 304-927-3588. Check out our website at amdigitaltechnologies.com, or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at AM Digital Tech for all that. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast Help Desk with Joe and Dave, and leave us a 5-star review. We are on all the major podcast platforms, and it's hosted through Anchor.fm, so thank you to Anchor.
Yeah, nice. So this is David. You've been listening to Help Desk with Joe. This is show number 43. We are just racking up the numbers here, closing in on 50, Joe. It's a big deal.
We're going to get something big for 50.
Yeah, we're here with Joe and A&M Digital Technologies that hosts all our patch stuff, including Patch Turned Up. And you're listening on Patch Turned Up here for our podcast. We have Justin in as our guest again today, and I think, Justin, you're a regular fixture, so I really hate to keep calling you a guest.
That's fine. I'm all right with that.
So I'll have to turn that around and just say with Joe and Justin from here on out. But stay tuned in for more podcasts, music news, and updates from our Patch students and our Patch community, and Patch community and children first. So we'll be back next week for show number 44, and our news updates and our product review, or whatever turns out of that, yet to be seen, yet to be determined.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, everyone have a great week, and many thanks to A&M Digital Technologies. Okay, you've been listening to our Facebook broadcast. We've been broadcasting live here on our Patch Facebook page. You've been watching Help Desk with Joe, show number 43 with Joe and Justin. We'll be back for more shows, so make sure you tune in and join us, and make sure you throw in some comments about the show. And really happy that Rodney Cox there was listening in and made a comment. And we'll be back next week for show number 44. So thanks for joining us, and many thanks for Justin and Joe, and of course A&M Digital Technologies running all our stuff here at the Patch Studio and the Patch offices.